Going to be a race over 10 laps. That's 39 k's of this East London Grand Prix circuit. Let's look at the grid. By 0.8 of a second, Grant van Schalkwyk leads Robbie Smith, the championship lead at the moment, with Ben Morganroot ever present. John Craig, fastest in Class B, and Dave Kopka, he leads Class D ahead of other Cape Townians, Record Roots and Lawrence Boshoff. This is the man that wants to close the gap. It's an 11-point lead that Robbie Smith has over him. Let's see if his Goodyear rubber that he's been supplied with and the team preparation is good enough as we get into business. 10 laps to go, a glorious afternoon. The rain hasn't arrived yet in East London and already starts to show his pace. We're in with Robbie Smith, who got to Potter's Pass. This is the awesome corner in South African motor racing, and already he's opened up 2 or 3 car lengths as Van Schalkwyk. They get it sideways through Potters, and Kusi Swanepoel now outside that white motor car starts to go for the dirt. There's the 2-litre cars, the Class B cars, and a little further back, the black one is leading the Class D, the 1600cc motor cars on their way down through Rifle. And Swanepoel goes wide again, touches the dirt. You remember he lost his brakes here at the last minute. East London went straight through the bushes, almost onto the beach. It's Van Schalkwyk and Robbie Smith. Then the 2 Sassel Ford Telstars are behind, as Willem Bart in the 2-litre class gives Sean Watson-Smith a little nudge, and Kopka's been pushed off at Kokobana. That's the championship lead in the 1600cc class. He's hardly lost a race this year, and he's right at the back of the field. In with Robbie Smith, doesn't seem to have the speed as he goes into the S's. It's a right-hander and then a left-hander. They get it sideways. They're trying very, very hard indeed. He's got Morganroot ahead of him, and Van Schalkwyk's opening up a gap just behind his Rolf du Plessis. John Craig is leading the 2-litre cars as they all stream through a big field of them, and Lawrence Boshoff has gone to the front. He's only had 1 win this year in that Honda of his in the 1600cc class. Back with the leaders, it's Grant van Schalkwyk. He's got about 5 or 6 car lengths, and Rolf du Plessis tries to take on Ben Morganroot on the inside. In with Robbie Smith, who behind du Plessis as they start heading up towards the start-finish line on this long straight towards Potter's Pass. They'll be going through there over 210 k's an hour. There's the Sassel Mazda of du Plessis, that white-nosed one, and Craig's in the front. Craig is hanging into the front there ahead of his teammate, which is Devon Juby. Van Schalkwyk through the gate bend has opened up a bigger and bigger lead. Robbie Smith has dropped back to 4th. Behind him he's got Kusi Swanepoel and then Steve Windham. And here's the 2-litre cars. Those 2 green BP Nissans. It's still Craig. He set up a lap record already. He's got Juby on his tail, and they're hoping to pull away there from Sean Watson-Smith. And getting a nudge there's Willem Bart, and taking his chances Roddy Turner, and that red and white, the Firehawk Opel Astra gets ahead of Bart. You can see how hard they're trying. They start going downhill towards the sweep, and then it climbs into a very strong wind. There's a gusty wind that can break very late at the top of the straight as they're going to Beacon. Here you see them again. Van Schalkwyk and the Transtech BMW well in the lead as du Plessis tries to go around the outside of Morganroot. It doesn't work, and Robbie Smith is being challenged by Kusi Swanepoel. It's a walkover for Schalkwyk. Whatever they've done to the car, and the tyres are certainly working for him. Morganroot. Then it's du Plessis. Robbie Smith well back there. Here comes Swanepoel. Robbie Smith is just lacking more and more power, and he's losing places. Van Schalkwyk slides the way through Potters. That's at 210 k's an hour. Swanepoel's holding off Robbie Smith, a red and white BM just behind. So Swanepoel's car's a 2.5 litre. It's a 325. In with Willem Bart. He gets a toe. Now you can see how slipstreaming works. He comes up on Roddy Turner. He just taps off for a minute, and Roddy holds onto his lead. He gets it sideways. They're absolutely flat out as they go through Potters, and uses every drop of road as he goes along towards Rifle. And taking his chances, Bevan Berthold just shows you can't let up for a moment in that gearbox den. The star-sponsored Nissan is right there with him. Here's Craig now. What does he do? Does he let Juby pass, and possibly Sean Watson-Smith as well? He's hanging onto that lead. He set up a new lap record. Here we are now, Morganroot in 2nd position in Class A. That's a 2.5 litre Sassel Telstar with du Plessis in the Mazda on his tail. And the 2-litre car still hard at it, getting it sideways through here. Juby wants past him. He wants to get away from that shadow. He's got that red and white shadow of Sean Watson-Smith. He wants him a long way behind him, but he just will not let go. Here comes Ben Morganroot now, and du Plessis trying on the inside. This time it was round the outside the last time. That didn't work, and it seems to work this time. Kirsty's moved ahead of Robbie Smith, as we saw, as Van Schalkwyk goes further and further ahead, and Smith is starting to drop back. Morganroot being challenged by du Plessis. You can see him now. He's trying to pass him on the other side, but he's hanging on to his inside position as they go towards Potters. Wonderful shots, probably the most realistic onboard camera shots you'll find anywhere. It's Swanepoel ahead of Robbie Smith. That motor almost sounding lazy. Look how they use all the road, that little strip of tar on the outside. They need it. At 210 k's an hour, you need it. He might lack the capacity, Swanepoel, but he's certainly going for the Telstar of Duplessis past him, and Robbie Smith's trying the same as they're heavy onto the brakes down into Goup. But Duplessis fighting back. Watching the party from just behind is Steve Wyndham in the 2-litre motor cars. It's John Craig now. The team instructions are starting to come into play. He's got to let Juby pass for maximum points. They want to go for the South African Production Car Drivers Championship as well. So Juby in the end has got to get through to get those maximum points. Here's the 1600cc cars. Lawrence Boshoff leading Records Roots and Gestetner Hondas that come down the road. And Dave Kopp with that black car at the back is a long way behind. If he wants to win this race, he's got 4 motor cars to pass, and we're halfway through this race as they set along the beach straight. Here's the leader. He's just making a meal of it. Hanging on to second place for dear life is Ben Morgenroot in that Sassel Ford Telstar. It's a 2.5-litre V6 on Swanepoel, and the 2.5-litre BM is right on his tail and giving it his all and slowing down. The Sassel Mazda's cried enough. Rolf Duplessis has given it everything, and he's retiring to the pits with a motor that's cooked in with Robbie Smith. As we come up on Swanepoel, you can see how slipstreaming works here. Hanging right in his tail, he starts to close on him. He wants to be on the right-hand side, but Swanepoel says, you go around the outside where the wind is a strong wind blowing from the left to the right of the circuit. The Class A leaders are starting to get amongst the tail enders now as Ben Morgenroot comes up on Vaughan Williams in the Honda. We're going with Robbie now, right on Morgenroot's tail. He's got a chance now of improving his position. As Van Schalkwyk going to pick up a maximum of 9 points here, and Robbie's got to be close to him. They go on the inside of Philip Khan in that little Sassel Ford Laser, and just look how they work those motor cars over. Downhill through Coxon, and then it's into the sweep. And Sean Watson-Smith's lost his toe from those 2 BP Nissans, but Juby has closed. He's got in trouble. He's slid it through there, and Watson-Smith's back on his tail. And Juby is no way is going to be able to pass John Craig. Juby's won 14 of the 16 races so far this year. He's had a great season. Van Schalkwyk on his way to the flag. Here's Morgenroot, and Robbie Smith's closing now. Behind him we've got some of the Class D cars, little 1600, and he's edging him on. He wants on the inside. That oversliding is going to put paid to his chances of a second place. It's Van Schalkwyk to win, Morgenroot in the Ford second, and Robbie Smith third. And in the Class B cars, we've got Sean Watson-Smith, a last-ditch effort to go around the outside of Juby. He's not going to make it, so it's Craig, a lap record. It's going to be Juby, BP Nissans 1 and 2, and Sean Watson-Smith in third spot. Robbie, a real tough one, that.
Very tough, Roger, yeah. I don't know what happened, but the car just lost all power. I haven't been happy the whole weekend with the car, though, because we knew we were down on power, but not that bad.
So a full 9 points for Van Schalkwyk ahead of Morgenroot. Robbie Smith only picks up 4. John Craig, a lap record and a win for him ahead of Juby. And Lawrence Boshoff, his second win of the season in his Honda Ballard.
It's my fault. I pressed too hard.
Do the hat trick. Robbie Smith's right in his tail. Ben Morgenroot's on the right-hand side of the road as Brian Hoskins, the clerk of the course, lines them up for the next 10 laps. It's going to be over 39 k's, and the predicted rain has not arrived. It's a beautiful afternoon here at East London with a very strong wind blowing. Van Schalkwyk watching his revs. There's Brian Hoskins, gives him the 5 second on that pedal, and now he's going to run for his life. There he goes. We're in business. 22 cars behind them as they wait for the green light. And a great start there for Van Schalkwyk. Morgenroot's on the left-hand side of the road in the Ford is his nearest challenger so far as they all stream past the starting line. And Morgenroot goes into Robbie Smith, pushes him to the dirt. He's done that a few times. He did in the West Bank in a meeting early in the year and left motor cars scattered all over the circuit. And Robbie Smith has dropped back right in amongst the 2-litre motor cars as they go absolutely flat out and don't lift on their way through Potter's Pass. Ahead of him he's got Willem Bart. He's one of the foremost runners in the getaway options, that Crystal Springs car. Easy to spot on these circuits, these yellow motor cars. And look at the lead that Van Schalkwyk has got already as he goes down into Goup. And Ronnie Turner's got spun around. Devin Juby tipped him. He goes into Morgenroot and half wrecks the back of his Opel Astra. Morgenroot goes to the side of the road. There's more of it. We're in with Sean Watson-Smith. He gets pushed to the side. Jeremy Davies. There's Etienne Roos nearly turning his motor car over. Absolute chaos down there at Goup. And as a result of it, a big benefit there for Robbie Smith. He's in amongst those Class B leaders. But that's where he wants to get to. He wants to get to Grant Van Schalkwyk in that Transtech BMW. As Robbie Smith makes up one place, he's on the tail of John Craig. You can see how hard they push it as they go through the S's. Into Cox's corners, the left-handed Robbie pushed through inside. He lets him through, and he's on his way now. Lying third in Class A is the red and white Auto Bavaria car of Robbie Smith. Lawrence Boshoff well placed in Class D. There's that black car in the middle. There's Dave Kopke. He's got a long job ahead of him. And Roddy Turner, look at that boot, is really stove in. Another look from Robbie Smith's car. That mechanical maim, he spins him around. Morgan, who's not going to go much further, and I can't believe that Roddy Turner actually gets back in this race, as those marshals just ran for their lives, real brave marshals here at East London. But in the front, it's Grant van Schalkwyk. Steve Wyndham, he did well at Port Elizabeth, got a second there as well, and Robbie Smith's got into third. Here's John Craig leading the 2-litre motorcars, the green and yellow BP Nissan Sentras, and Sean Watson-Smith is not going to challenge, but this time he's stuck at the side of the road, and these ding cars all coming through. Lawrence Boshoff leading the 1600cc class, and Van Schalkwyk in a real hurry, sliding way through Rifle. That's a great piece of driving as he goes down there. Steve Wyndham hanging on as hard as he can, and here comes Robbie Smith. He's found more power between the two racers, and coming across the circuit is Devon Juby, taking a shortcut. He's in the wars this afternoon. His teammate John Craig is leading the class, and Juby is really giving a scent. He's losing it now. I was going to say he's losing out there to Bevan Bertel, but he has. He's gone onto the dirt again, and the foot is down. He's lost another 3 or 4 places. He gets in behind Peter Lance in that Opel Astra. Here they come into the traffic now. Great dicing going on. He's got ahead of him the Platy car. That orange one is Anthony Bulliard. That's a hard one to pass as well. Peter Lance ahead of him is Juby's going for it. He goes to the inside. That's in the works car. That BP car is on the trot, and he is intent on getting onto John Craig's tail and passing him and crabbing his way back to the pits. How he's ever driven it this far is Ben Morgan. That Cecil Ford Telstar definitely out of this competition. Barring any problems, Van Schalkwyk's well on his way to another 9 points. It's going to be a hat-trick of wins for him. Wyndham's in second spot in that Cecil Ford Telstar, and Robbie Smith is starting to close on him. Here's the leader of the 2-litre cars. It's John Craig. Then we've got Willem Bart and Bevan Bertel doing very well. And Juby's now got past him and is staying ahead of Anthony Bullion, as these 14 cars in the 2-litre class provide great action in Stannic Group N Championship racing as they all stream through. Here's Juby's got his head down as the others come through. Roddy Turner's gone further than we think he can go. That car can't be going much further. It's had a tremendous dump. The 1600 class, there's Kopka coming past there. He's getting himself into second position as Hilton Spark in the Lashaka Nissan loses it on Pottis. What a place to do that. Comes across there doing a bit of grass tracking back onto the field. Here comes the other one. Roddy Turner's just following up the rear coming down the hill here. And it's been massive action in this race on this magnificent circuit here at East London. Just look at the damage on those motor cars. Roddy's in there. That car can't be going too much further. It's really taken a tremendous time. And true enough, it's going to the side of the road, and Roddy Turner's out of this one. But it wasn't for one to try. John Craig's in the front. He's going for his second win of the day. The team instructions say that Devon Juby must get maximum point, but he's got to get there first. The Crystal Springs car of Bart is in second. There's Berthold, the red, the star-sponsored car. And on his tail, in fourth spot now, is Devon Juby, and he's starting to get closer to the front. There's Craig. Well on his way, looks like to a win here. Bart comes up the road, and Juby's looking for Bevan Berthold in that gearbox den car. He's going through on the inside. He's going to pass him. He's hanging onto his tail for dear life. He's really got to get up to Craig. Dave Kopka's gone to the front of the 1600cc class. He's passed Lawrence Bossoff's Mercurius Honda, driven there by Dave Kopka. There he is, but Bossoff, former motorcycle champion, is not letting him go. Well driven there by Dave Kopka. He's hardly lost a race this season. They come up towards us. It's Kopka. The red flash shows it's Lawrence Bossoff. Then it's Record Ruth, and Chris Boucher is right on his tail. And they are sliding those motorcars and pushing as hard as they can. Here comes Devon Juby. Now it's got Berthold. He's moved up a place. He's into third spot, and he's set up a new lap record. He's not going to give up with this one. He is trying so hard. Says thank you very much to Bevan. We're in with Robbie Smith. He's closed there on Steve Wyndham. That BMW certainly going a lot better than it was in the first race. Still sounds a wee bit lazy. Got a tremendous gap there, seems, between second and third gears as they go around the sweep. They're heading up into the teeth of the gale as we see... no, they've got ahead of Juby again. Berthold is back ahead of Juby, and he's taking on Willem Bart there. This is for second spot, and Juby says thank you. He goes to on the inside. Has he got it? He seems to have got into second. John Craig's in front. He has. The BP Nissan team plans are starting to come together. Not for want of trying by Willem Bart and Bevan Berthold on that red car just behind. And Juby is on a roll at the moment. He's got to get closer. Craig knows the team instructions say he's got to get maximum points as Juby. So he'll have to tap off near the end of this race. But the fear is those other motor cars aren't part of this plan. Here comes Robbie Smith on Steve Wyndham's tail. He's going to try and go around the outside. And Van Schalkwyk is not that far ahead. He's only 2 seconds ahead at the moment. Has he got him? No, he hasn't. That V6 Ford starts to gather momentum, and along that beach straight it goes. He's not getting away. Robbie's getting a toe now into a strong wind as they go for the gate corner. But it's Van Schalkwyk now, looking good for another 9 points. This is going to be a hat-trick of wins for him. He won at Kyalami, as you said. He won here the early part of the afternoon. He's going to do it again. And Robbie Smith hasn't got an answer for that Ford, not for one to try. As Van Schalkwyk wins his 3rd race in a row. Then it's Wyndham, and then it's Robbie Smith in the Firehawk BMW. Devin Juby, he gets ahead of John Craig as they came up to the line on instruction, and Dave Kopka. He also got a lap record on his way to winning Class D.